Do it to him.
Look at y'all. I thought that was the audio at first.
No.
I thought
You're like, oh, I'm fucking everything up.
it's going to explode.
Put your headphones on.
Oh, let's go.
I have to make this song longer so that he can just rock out the whole episode.
I got feedback from Hustle.
About what? This podcast?
About the song.
What? That it's too short?
He's just not impactful enough.
Okay, we could change it. Tell him to send us something new.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, well, it's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's what the song the podcast is named after.
Yeah, we'll take drops and whatever
Yeah.
he wants to send. We'll
Yeah,
get crazy
so
on the
he wanted to
soundboard.
make us a specific Sonic logo for it.
Okay.
I was like, all right, give me some time to think about that.
All right, so you didn't answer him yet.
No, I told him I need time to think.
Okay.
I've been doing that a lot. I'm like, hey man, follow back up with me on May 19th.
Okay. Monday, May 19th, big day.
Yeah, big day. So I'll have a better answer then. But for right now, I think it's working.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it is literally the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Jordan appeared to like it as he did some rock thing with his hands.
He was doing the what's that gorilla? Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
He was doing Donkey Kong.
Some rendition.
He's got a microphone.
I know. Everything's weird right now. Everything's weird.
How you doing?
I'm good.
All right. Where do you want to start today?
What do you want to start with? This is coming out Friday? If this comes out Friday, I am not here because I'm at the UFL fight.
Yeah.
I get to meet a lot of big fighters this weekend. Did you see the lineup?
I saw that yesterday when
I gotta wrestle Frank Mir,
damn.
in the crowd.
You ready to do that? Such a thing?
No. I've never done striking also.
Yeah,
So like
don't mess with Frank.
if we start doing jiu-jitsu, I'll like be somewhat with it for a second until I get punched. So I'll probably just get popcorn and watch and be very polite to everybody.
Sounds much more enjoyable.
I'm gonna avoid I'm gonna watch the violence.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about the UFL. I'm really excited about a little partnership started. We don't do partnerships often. But they reached out to me. They have a really cool thing happening. So for people that don't know, it's the United Fight League. It's I think the headquarters are in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm 90% sure that's where I was when I was standing in the headquarters. Owner's super cool, really, really rad dude. They're looking to do some really cool stuff for mixed martial arts. And they asked us to print some of the t-shirts. So we did a t-shirt. We did a Rampage Jackson t-shirt.
the coolest of.
Which is like pretty wild. Like I grew up watching Rampage just be a maniac. And now we're doing a shirt for him, which releases today. And the discussion was exclusive only at the event, which cool. And then about a week ago, they were like, you know what? There's people that aren't going to be at the event, so you can sell them, but only a limited number.
Yeah.
Don't get carried away and just start printing thousands of Rampage shirts. So we have a couple hundred shirts that if you're not at the fight tonight with me, with all of my celebrity fighter friends.
Nate Diaz going to be there.
Yeah.
Who else was it?
Yeah, these are all people that I haven't met. Just interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't met a lot of fighters, so I'm pretty excited.
Don't throw down with anyone.
No, I have zero desire to do that.
Okay.
How often in public do you see me get in altercations? Never.
One time.
One time?
Olympia.
Oh,
but that didn't really count.
Yeah, so, okay, let me reframe this. If anyone gets aggressive towards Dana and I have to get aggressive with them, I'm willing to do that. And that includes Frank Mir. Like if Frank Mir puts his hands on Dana, I'm going to give him hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank, if you're listening.
No, just don't
touch
hit
Dana.
Yeah, just don't touch Dana. I mean, you can like hug her or whatever, like a polite handshake, hello. Just don't like shove her or anything, because then I'm going to shove you.
Yeah, would be a weird
and then I'm going to
move.
get the shit kicked out of me. But it's for honor, and you know, you got to be prepared to defend honor.
Yeah.
So
not wrong.
No.
So Rampage shirt this week. We released goat joggers and shorts finally. I know people have been hearing us talk about them for a while.
Dude, it's so nice to have new colors right now.
I know. I was hoping chocolate sold the most.
Did it really? I'm wearing chocolate today.
24-hour recap, only in shorts. Black sold the most in joggers by like 20 pairs.
Black's like the safest jogger, and it's just like always a great consistent one to have. But dude, something about that chocolate, I think just because it's new, right?
It's different.
Like I think all of our colors are dialed, but the chocolate.
Let's see it. Yeah.
I'm wearing my
What are
my-
some loafers?
they're my Hawaii shoes.
What are they?
So when I went to Hawaii, I only brought flip flops, and I went in the gym, and they were like, "You can't wear flip flops in the gym," and I was like, "I'm I'm Rob Bailey," and they're like, "We don't know who that is," and I was like, "So you're saying that I can't wear flip flops?" And they were like, "No." So I had to go buy shoes. What a weird, like, right?
So you bought those?
Yeah, a secret is I was trying to look for Vans. I've never owned Vans in my life, and I've always seen people that are so like, "Oh, I wear Vans," that I hate Vans. You know? I think they're fucking dumb. Anytime anybody's like, this thing is so amazing, and it gets like a cult following, I'm like, I hate you and your shoes. But I was like, that might be my perfect reason
To try them.
just like Jordans, right? Like I was never a Jordan guy because I feel like a lot of times Jordans are worn by fat older men in skinny jeans with like big Jordan shoes, and it's just like, dude, grow up. Like what the fuck? So I always hated them, and then I always look for that special moment when I get my first Jordans. And Sean Whalen actually heard that I had never worn Jordans, so he sent me a pair of infrareds. And I was like, oh, these are dope. Like these are kind of cool. I don't really wear them, but I have them.
I think they're in the are they in the studio? Or
They're
they're at the
somewhere.
office. I've seen them.
but
like
but it was
this morning.
enough to like break the first wall of like, okay, now I have them.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things, I look for special moments to anchor those things to, in all of life.
So what happened with Vans?
I couldn't find any in size 13 because people that wear Vans have small girl feet. Right, Jordan?
Exactly.
Gage
Sorry.
is the one that asked. Gage has Vans on.
Gage,
right
you
now.
wear Vans? What do you wear,
Exclusively
size
Vans.
11? There you go. Girl feet.
13's got to be hard to shop.
Our
in
old
general.
designer Steph had size 11s.
Yeah, she had a big foot.
She did have a big
She
feet.
still does have a big foot.
Yeah.
Her foot size
Yeah.
didn't change.
How do you know? Maybe it shrank.
Yeah, we've like shared boots before. That's how I know.
Really?
Yeah, I only have 8.5 on my left side. My right side is a size
Oh, you
9.
got 2 different size feet.
I found that out when I got fit for the shoes I'm wearing right now.
So right's a 9?
Yeah,
That's your power foot.
I don't.
when you kick stuff?
I was asking the girl because my right foot is the one I broke, and I have like plates in. So I don't know.
Extended.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like
how
you got
it
that
works.
surgery, that $24,000 an inch surgery or whatever.
I didn't say I would pay 24,000. I think I tapped out around 10.
I said I'd pay $1 million per inch of height.
Yeah, you just went for it. I was saying 10 for 2
Because I'm
inches.
6'3", but to be 6'5" is a different world. That's worth $2 million. It would change your whole entire life. Not at this point in time in my life, but 6'5" would be like crazy.
6'5" tall.
Yeah, you're in a different hemisphere.
What's the Paul?
Yeah. Paul Flanagan,
He's 6'5".
6'5".
Yeah, he's too
it's
tall. He's too tall.
Crazy. It just
Right?
looks so much taller. What are you doing
So
up there?
it's a different world, dude. You see things different.
Check different weather reports. I'm sure.
It's just different. The
Just
wind's
gotta
different.
Be careful up there.
You have to be careful. Yeah, I hit my head on the airplane the other day getting out of the airplane. Not my airplane.
What like the?
Like the normal airplane. Like I was trying to be polite to the stewardess. Like she said something to me that just seemed nice. So I turned, I did my smile, and I was like, "Thanks so much. The flight was amazing." Bam! And dude, like, when you hit your head sometimes and you hit it way harder than you realized.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I just hit it, playing it cool," and I started to walk, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm dizzy." Like I
Damn.
hit my head hard enough to be dizzy. That sucked. Would have never happened to you.
No, I just stand up on planes. I'm like, boom, I'm here.
Yeah.
Let me out of this bitch.
I flew this morning.
How was that?
That was good. I just went up for one takeoff and landing. My flaps was a backdoor issue.
Oh wait, so
It
your
was
flaps
Jordan's fault.
weren't?
It was
messed?
Jordan's fault, is what it was.
Wait, your flaps weren't messed up?
No, as long as we're placing blame. We did a photo shoot, and Jordan opened my back door, and because the flaps come down, and you can actually open the back door into the flaps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little trigger point in there that when it's not fully compressed, your flaps will stop working so that you don't open the cargo door into them. So I called maintenance the other day, and they were like, "Did you check the back sticky point?" And I was like, "Fuck,
Wait,
no."
driver's side or passenger side?
Passenger side.
Okay, because I was gonna say I shut the driver's side door at one point during
Yeah.
that shoot, but
So then I went, and of course, like I fingered the little button for a second, was like, and then closed the door, and then the flaps work. So I took it up this morning to make sure flaps work. I landed in a 12-mile-an-hour crosswind. No big deal.
that's a lot, right?
Dead asleep. Dead asleep
You
this
flew up
morning at like
early.
6:30. Yeah, but it was good.
Could you like see a sun? There wasn't really a sunrise.
No,
but
it's super overcast today. Ceilings were 55.
is it cooler that way, or like what would you prefer if you were going up today?
Me, I like clear skies personally. I like clear skies when there's no weather, especially because the weather changes so fast in this valley.
Yeah.
So like the thing that I fear is, because our weather reporting it changes so fast. What I fear is like I leave the valley on a day that's predicted to be nice, and then weather moves in and it goes to IFR, and then I can't get back.
Oh,
So I'd have to land and stay wherever I'm at. Luckily, the way my life works is I don't have to call my boss and say like, "Hey man, I'm stuck in Spokane."
Yeah.
Because weather moved in. But yeah, that's the only thing I always worry about is if there's any kind of clouds or any kind of wind picking up. I normally check a few hours in advance, and then I'm just always worried about like I'm not coming back landing in anything over 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, even what's 12 miles an hour in an aircraft like? Because I know what it's like on a golf course, and it's like 12 mile an hour
It's a lot.
crosswind. Like
It's
I
a
know
lot.
how that
It's a
affects
lot.
a ball. How's that affect a?
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's just a different landing. It's
Yeah.
just you can land uncoordinated. I was even being a little tired today. I still skid a little bit, but nothing bad. It was a good landing.
You gonna fly a lot this summer or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna fly a lot. I'm gonna try to fly twice a week. And because even like this morning, like I took off and flew, and I was still here by 7:27,
Yeah.
and I washed my truck this morning.
Damn. Big
So
day.
like I got done, and my road got sprayed with the anti-dust material.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this gross tar. We do it once a year. So my truck's like doused in the most disgusting chemical ever. So you have to wash it off right away. So I did that, and then still got here at 7:27. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And that's with trying to wash my truck in Whitefish, but the car wash wouldn't work. So all that wasted time, dude, you know those wasted minutes.
Unreal.
But yeah, I'm going to try to fly a lot this year. I'm going to do a lot of grass landings. We're going to camp out of the airplane a lot this year.
Grass landings. You could do there's a grass landing in Whitefish. by your
Yeah,
house?
Whitefish. Whitefish is grass landing.
Eureka's grass landing.
No, Eureka's paved. And then so if you head out that way, like at the end of Hungry Horse, there's Spotted Bear, there's Meadows, there's Schaefer's Field. There's a bunch of grass fields out there that you can just like land, unpack a tent, camp, and then leave the next day.
Sounds pretty sick.
I'm gonna do that a lot this year.
What other summer goals?
Summer goals
are there? 'Cause it's getting nice out.
Yeah, it's getting
getting
nice.
the bug.
It's a lot of boat this year. A lot of wooden boat. I'm gonna try to get the wooden boat out a lot. Yeah. Try to get the wooden boat out a lot. Try to get the Mastercraft out a lot. We're possibly working on some stuff with Mastercraft, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, a lot of flying. Trying to stay in Montana this summer.
Yeah.
So really, really not. I'm saying no to everything. Like people are like, "Hey, come here and do this." And I'm like, "No." I come to Napa. No. Staying in Montana. Because I think that's the thing about the summer is every time I go somewhere, it's not even as close to as good as Montana.
Yeah.
And, in the fall, winter, spring, mud season, yeah, you can go to like Hawaii or somewhere fun and you're like, oh, this is great. But summer in Montana, like everywhere else sucks.
It's that, and I feel like we kind of wait all winter.
Yeah,
And now it's
it's
our
the buildup.
Now it's like the payoff for
the
what
buildup.
we endured.
Yeah.
And this winter wasn't that bad, but still, winter's it's just long here. Even regardless of if we get hammered with snow or not, it's just an extended period.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is where we get to enjoy it.
No, we're going to try to do adventure once a week this year.
You're doing a 9/11 tour, not a tour, but like a drive to
Maybe.
Yellowstone.
Maybe to Cody, Wyoming. So a friend of mine, Luke, said that he wanted to have an event. I was like, yeah, I'll come speak at your event. He's like, well, I don't really have a budget. And I was like, I'll reach out to people and convince them to come because I'm coming. So I leveraged all of my resources and filled up his event for free. So yeah, going out there. I'm not sure if I'm going to fly out there or drive, but I'm going to make a thing out of it. So like if I do fly there, I'll probably fly to Yellowstone and camp the night at Yellowstone on Thursday night because you can camp on the field there.
On the airfield?
On the airfield, yeah. So you just land your plane, park your plane, set up a tent under your plane, camp there, and then the next day I'll fly to Cody,
Crazy
Wyoming.
that you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you're a pilot, dude.
Do each of these fields have like a tower or like people in charge of them?
Kind of. I mean, it's all varying, right? So like
is there someone working at that field in Whitefish?
no,
Okay.
no,
That's
that's
just
just a field.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's in Glacier's airspace. So you need to communicate with
So
Glacier
someone's
Tower.
monitoring it.
Kind
just-
of, right? But like there's other fields out there, no. There's managers, like if you go on ForeFlight, there's like a number you can call and get in touch with someone, but they're probably not there.
Yeah. It's just crazy, the idea of like taking your plane, literally landing wherever you want, and then just sleeping there.
I know, that's my frustration, because that was like my dream when I started flying, was like, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just,
You haven't done it yet, right? You flew to Escalante, but you guys camped out of Airstreams.
yeah, we camped in Airstreams. Yeah, I've done overnights before. I've done a lot of overnights, but I've never like camped next to the plane. I don't know, dude. Jordan, you know this. Tent camping is like, I did it as a child, and now when I do it as an adult, I'm like, this hurts my back.
I still love it.
Well, you're a child. How old are you?
29.
Child.
Yeah, so
young
29
adult.
is still a child. Yeah. I was like deadlifting 700. Same day I was pressing 225 when I was 29, and I was like, I feel great. And now, like, if I sleep longer than 6 hours, my back goes out for some reason.
But
Different.
I like sleeping on the ground, though. I sleep better on the ground than I do at home.
Really?
I think it's a personal thing, though.
It sounds like a personal thing. That's
I
good, though.
I
That's a
sleep
great.
best at the bed in the farmhouse.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's some of the best sleep I've ever had.
That's a good bed.
I don't.
It's an expensive bed.
I like looked
Yeah.
for the tag on it. I tried to figure out like what
Yeah.
make the mattress.
I had a mattress hookup locally. I went in there and the guy was like, he knew who I was. And then we sat there and we talked for a really long time. And I just bought all of my mattresses from him.
Oh, really?
So every single and I don't even know what it is, but every single time I'd go in and be like, yo, bro, I'd be like, dude, you're back. You bought another house? And I'd be like, yeah. I need 2 kings and a queen. Give me the same mattresses you gave me before. And now that store is not there. And so I don't even know. I don't have a mattress hookup anymore.
Yeah, that mattress is banging.
Yeah, that guy was awesome. He was like, dude, this is the one you want. It's not the most expensive. It's pretty affordable. It's going to last you 10 years. But once again, everybody sleeps on mattresses forever.
Yeah.
That's like a mattress company lie thing where they just like, these only last 10 years. We should say that about the goat joggers. They only last a year, and then you have to get new ones.
Yeah, get on the
We have to come
annual
out with new
subscription.
colors. Yeah.
What else?
No, tons of projects. I mean, the car show, there's so much prep to do before the car show.
Yeah, we got spring cleaning and
I
the
took the
fence.
project to put a fence out front.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that. That's like one of those things that it's just like, Rob, you're an idiot. Like, just pay someone to put the fence up. And I'm like, no, I'm going to put up the fence and spend 2 days doing it. We finally got shipping containers for out front.
Yeah.
That happened.
When do those get here? I'm excited
in
for
the
those.
in the next 2 weeks, because
Jordan's
I've always
gonna love it. He doesn't know about them.
So Jordan, out by the turf out front. Yeah. When I originally designed the building, I had shipping containers there as like a backdrop wall, and we just never got them, because when we built the building, it's back when shipping containers were like $15,000 a piece, and I was like, what? Get out of here! And now they're back down to $6,000. So we've got 2 of them showing up. I get to use my Gray Coast sprayer again. Probably a thing I shouldn't be doing, but I'm pretty excited to prep and paint them all black. And then we're going to do some big graphics on them. So we'll probably put the monogram and then a logo on it. It's going to cap that off so beautifully. A whole new place to shoot.
Yeah.
You won't need to worry about, shooting that way into the neighbor's property that looks like underwhelming.
And then the fence.
And the fence. Yeah. Traditional fence.
Ooh.
We're putting in like a traditional fence.
You know what I noticed yesterday? If you go on Apple Maps, I don't know who Apple's affiliated.
The racetrack updated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Google updated the racetrack like 4 days after it was paved.
Oh, really?
It freaked me out.
Because it just updated on Apple yesterday.
Yeah, I don't use Google Maps, and my friend Joe Burke, who brought the IS300 out from Pennsylvania, he was like, dude, racetrack looks great, and sent me a screenshot, and I was like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
wait, what is this from? And he's like, oh, it's from, I think, Google Earth.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, we finished paving that like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I don't know, it updated. So I don't know if we fell in some kind of weird thing.
Yeah, I don't
but
know,
like,
because Nadia, she was at the gym yesterday, and I checked to see if she was still here, and I was like, whoa, racetrack. That's how I know. And then what I liked about the old photo is my Panamera was still in it.
Yeah,
and
now it's gone.
Now it's not.
Do you think the government watches you from the sky playing in your backyard with your kids?
Not me, but I feel like they have. I feel like they have to have the ability, if something were to happen in my yard and they really needed to see it, they could, right? So if stuff like that is public information,
Yeah,
like
like
Google Earth,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
right?
100%. They're
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
you in your backyard.
No, I don't think they're watching. I think they're watching me maybe if something happens.
So sometimes I don't follow Instagram pages I like because I feel like they'll start watching me in my backyard. Like there's an Instagram page I follow right now. It's so good. And I watch it enough that it always pops back up, but I refuse to follow it because like sometimes when you follow pages, it's like, wait, you follow this page?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah,
I feel like later in life, because like currently, like if you said the N-word 15 years ago, right? Like now they're like, have you ever said the N-word? And you're fuck, dude, I was 15 years old when I said that. Like, damn it. And like you get canceled.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like 15 years from now, it's like, did you ever follow this Instagram page? And you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was young and I followed an Instagram page. I thought it was funny. And I didn't realize it was going to be canceled 15 years from now. So there's a couple pages out there that I watch, but I don't dare follow.
Yeah. I hope no one was watching me in my yard this weekend trying to weed whack.
You bought a weed whacker?
I bought an electric one.
Did you get the battery upgrade like I told you to?
So
That's a no. That's a no. I told you to get the big boy battery.
I know. I got the bundle that it came with. So I got the weed whacker and the leaf blower and then the regular battery. And then I need to figure out if this, because I have the 20 volt, I need to figure out if the 60 volt fits in what I have.
Yeah.
But I started doing that project.
So the way all that stuff works is you just plug it in and it works twice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I have now worked like surprisingly well. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like
I'll let you borrow one of my big boy batteries and you're going to be like, whoa.
Just to make sure.
Yeah. That's what made me start believing in electric
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. Because for the longest time, I was like, electric stuff's the worst.
Yeah.
And I used to have drills, electric drills. But when I got that little electric chainsaw and I put the big boy battery on it, it was like, okay, this is pretty decent. But then I got the nail gun.
That was a game changer.
The electric nail gun is like anyone who's still using a compressor, it's like your horse and carriage.
Yeah.
Like
Damn.
you are in the past. You still have a BlackBerry. That's all I can relate it to.
I love
like,
Blackberries.
Do you?
I did.
Okay.
I had a bunch.
But now
of them.
you're like, well, they're kind of silly.
Well, now I'm like a zero turn guy. On Thursday, I'll be a zero turn guy.
Pretty excited about that. You can put graphics on it?
I have no idea what I'm going to do with any of it. I don't even know like how I'm going to get it into the garage when they deliver it.
You drive it in the garage.
Yeah, but like that's not me yet. It's going to be me, but it's not me
so
yet.
That's the thing is, if you've never driven a zero turn,
I'm going to crash it into the truck.
You don't want to get it into the garage.
What do you mean?
Okay. So if they drop it off and they're like, where do you want it? You're like, oh, just start it up and put it in the garage. No.
Okay. What do I want to do? Have them leave it outside?
Because if they put that zero turn in your garage and then they leave, you're going to have to call me to come to your house to drive it out of the garage.
Huh?
When they drop it off, say, hey, just show me how to start it and use it. Be very humble. Be like, hey, my first time ever using one. It's not an embarrassing thing. Like if you've never used a zero turn, it gets spicy quick.
Yeah.
And then the second you figure it out, you're like, this is common sense. So have them show you how to use it, but then practice it a little bit before you put it away.
Okay.
Because then next time you go to use it, you're going to have to get it out of your garage and you're going to crash it into your Golson.
Yeah. Well, when I scheduled delivery with the lady at Home Depot, she was like, is there anything we need to know about drop off? And I was like, yeah, I'll just need like a tutorial when the guys get there. Kind of like joking, realizing she doesn't know that's just me. And she was like, wait, what was that? And I was like, yeah, like a tutorial, the quick rundown on how to use the thing. She was like, oh, we don't really do that kind of stuff, but if you need help. And I was like, I'm literally joking. No. I was like, what kind of question was that? And she was like, I wanted to know like if you lived in an apartment complex. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Like if you needed a gate code, not I need someone to come instruct me and then teach me for an hour.
Hold my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happening this week. Got a John Deere.
To take photos for you.
That'd be sick.
Been like, hey, do you think the driver could take photos of the delivery for me? It's a really special moment.
Think he could bring his camera with him?
Yeah.
Got a 48-inch John Deere.
Oh, John Deere's a good move, dude.
My neighbor, and then when I was home this weekend weed whacking, I saw my neighbors got the same.
Is John Deere still moving to Mexico?
Ooh, haven't heard about that.
Or do you think Trump stopped that? Because John Deere has been getting shitty over the last few years.
Oh wait, should I not have bought John Deere?
No. I think they're still made in the U.S. So John Deere, I forget how many years ago, but they started messing with their computers. So like as a farmer, you need to fix shit yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
I've been watching a lot of the Unabomber, so just bear with me. But John Deere used to be able to fix it yourself and fix whatever. And then like whatever it was 5 years ago, they did a software computer update where like everything you need to fix with the tractor, you have to take it to the dealer. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And then I think they're going to move their plants from the U.S. to Mexico. But I'm sure those tariffs stop them in their tracks. I need to research that.
You have a lot of John Deere stuff, right?
I have a John Deere tractor. John Deere tractor, yeah.
Okay. You were like my referral. I tell them you influenced me.
Why do you think Dana's calling me? Hey, Dana, I'm doing a podcast.
Let's go! Do what I
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, I can absolutely do that. You just need to tell me what time. Yeah. Okay, I can absolutely do that. All right, love you, bye. Yep. Ugh, I'm glad I answered that. Glad I answered that.
Good?
So I see my friend do that. My friend, if his wife calls him on a podcast, he always answers. Brad Lee.
Yeah.
He just answers. Now he puts her on speakerphone.
Risky move.
I don't put her on speakerphone. But
She
no.
good?
Yeah. So I'm trying to proposition it as a victory.
Okay.
Bear with me. One of my jobs as a husband is mind control. No, I'm just joking. But I'm in charge of my family, right? As big as the family is or as small as it is, I think the man is in charge. And Dana agrees. So a lot of my responsibility is navigating through rough waters.
Yeah.
And we're entering rough waters. We've had a lot of goats. We've had 7 goats. We've had 4 goats get killed. Well, more than that. Holy shit. We had 2 goats die from sicknesses. We've had 1 goat die from a mountain lion attack.
Max.
And we had 3 goats die from a grizzly bear attack. So now we have 4 goats. Our 1 goat, Oreo, has that scarring in her lungs. So I need to give her a steroid shot probably like every 3 days now. So I'm just great at that.
Damn.
Dana's not good with needles
Yeah.
because she's natural. I'm not natural, so I'm very well versed with how to give an IM injection on a goat. So we actually that was like a big victory for us, is because whenever a goat normally gets sick, they normally pass. And we were able to bring Oreo back. But I've been sort of watching, and Ruby's starting to have like neurological issues with her legs. And Ruby's like the oldest goat we have. Like it's funny because when we got her, they gave it to us and they're like, here, just take this old goat because she's going to die soon.
Oh, really?
And we want to keep her with her kids. So we were like, all right. So we took Ruby and I was like, Ruby's going to be dead here in like a year. Like Ruby's 1,000 years old. Now Ruby survived the bear attack.
Yep.
She ran away in the woods for 7 days. She came back malnourished. Like she is just...
Trooper.
It's unbelievable. This goat is just alive. And she's pretty sweet. She's great. She's part of the family. And I've been watching her walk, and she's just starting to like lose her legs. So last night was the first night that she couldn't get into the shed for the night. So I had to go out and like pick her up and carry her into the shed. And I was like, ugh. And Dana's like, I feel like we should do something. And I was like, Ruby's really old, Dana.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like this is a victory. This is the first goat that we've ever had that's going to die
Like
of
a
old
full
age.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's fucking rad. We should be celebrating that instead of it getting killed in some tragic accident.
Yeah. Or
got
cancer
sick
or something. Yeah.
a blockage or something. Like, no, dude, we did it. We finally got a goat to like 15 years or however long goats age of age. So the thing we agreed upon last night was the thing that sucks about the vet is we can't just buy drugs, you know? So we want to get her something that makes her a little more comfortable because I think it's whatever, her joints you can definitely tell hurt. So I'm keeping up on her hooves, which is a whole circus thing to cut her feet. But yeah, I mean, we're going to take her to the vet today. So that was Dana, who's obviously at home right now having a hard time with Ruby and made a decision to take her to the vet. So I got to leave midday to go pick up Ruby and take her to the vet.
Damn.
She's too big. She's a pretty big goat, and I don't think Dana can lift it to get in the car. Even though men and women are equal,
Yeah.
I still have to do it.
Oh,
Do you watch anything about the Unabomber?
No.
No. Okay. I'm gonna read his book. Have you ever read the Unabomber's book?
I have not. I've heard it's extremely long though. I've
It's
gotten the gist of it.
Well, it's a
Read the Cliff
32-page
Notes.
manifesto. I'm trying to find a good copy of it because all the reviews I read, because I read reviews, it all says that like they use super big font and like stretch the words. Because I'm thinking about it, it's like I don't know who's getting the money for the manifesto. Like I don't know how that works. I would assume they're not giving it to him, right?
Probably his brother that turned him in.
Probably his brother had turned him in. Which Dana looked at me last night, watching Unabomber documentaries, and I was like, if you ever start to kill people, I would never turn you in. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, what do you mean? And she was like, if I started to kill people, would you turn me in? I was like, no. Like, what?
How did you get into this Unabomber world you're in?
I've always been. Well, so I watched the Unabomber documentary back in the day, like a long, long time ago. And I watched it, and there's a point at the end. There's a point at the end of the movie where I was watching it and like, kind of agree with what he says, kind of don't like how he's going about it.
Yeah.
But I get the concept overall. And there's a point at the very end of the movie, and this is a movie, it's not a documentary. And he's essentially saying how technology and this is back in like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's saying that technology and industry and all of that being built up and growing, we're starting something we're not gonna be able to stop, and it's gonna ruin humanity. So we have to revolt against it and stop it, right? And he's saying that like it's gonna take control of our lives and give us these rules that don't make sense. And then they end it with like the perfect clip of the guy that puts him in jail drives up to a stoplight, and it's like 2 a.m. and the stoplight's red, and we've all been here, and it's red, and he just stops at it, and he's just sitting there, and it's clear as day that there's no fucking cars coming.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just 2 a.m. sitting at this red light because it's technology and it owns you and it's a rule and it says, no, you can't go. It's a red light. I don't care if you can see for 5 miles in either direction and there's no headlights. You have to sit here at 2 a.m. for the next 45 seconds and just fucking wait. And I was like, whoa, like technology.
Right.
Yeah. And then I started to sort of spiral out of control.
Gotcha.
So it's something I haven't revisited in a bunch of years, but I've been watching like a lot of, I love like the Waco shit and the Ruby Ridge stuff and all that.
The Waco stuff I watched, or
Yeah.
the Netflix series
Yeah.
on Waco.
Well,
I
there was
watched.
like 3 different ones, and they were all shot from like different perspectives.
The one I watched was really good.
Was it anti-Waco?
I don't remember.
Like the gist of it?
It was really well done. It was like a movie or a series. It wasn't like a documentary.
Yeah, there's one that's like sort of more on their side, and then there's I watch them all, but I love all the cult shit and all that. But yeah, it's technology, and I think that even going back to like, because we're always paying attention to marketing, so you have to pay attention to trends and what's happening, and then also brands as they age, you have to pay attention to younger generations. And just sort of like watching more and more, it's like, like are all of these things, like I know that you can have the proper relationship with social media and things evolve and stuff like that, but just making me think. So part of me was like, I'm going to read his manifesto and just sort of see how it relates to today. Nothing more than being like, okay, his thoughts from it's 55 years ago now, or around 55 years ago. Like, did he predict what was happening now?
Yeah.
And just sort of take like
I think what's interesting about it is like our age group of people,
before and after.
the before and after. So it's like, while we might have been, or like say I was hesitant to Twitter or any of these things, it's like that is now the delivery of news. It's not watching the live ABC Channel 6 local coverage at 5 o'clock and it only airs at one time. It's like, no, you get news all day from all these different sources. It is kind of like fascinating when you think about it like that. We think about back in the day, like the pull that actors would have or big celebrities. It's like the new version of that for the current day, regardless of how we want to look at it, is influencers to a certain extent. And like our generation, like I'll speak for me, maybe hesitant or like weird about that in the beginning. It's like, oh, these influencers, this content thing. It's like, well, that is what we live in now, what people are growing up with.
Yeah.
And they only know that. They don't
Yeah.
know the local newscaster and Bob Hurricane Schwartz will give me the news at 6:45. They know it's on their phone immediately.
And I think that's the interesting part that I want to go revisit that book, because I know you don't really follow politics, right? So I'll brief you a little bit. So in the last election, there's essentially two sides right now, right? There's the right, which they have a tendency of saying like the far right or the alt-right, which implies that you're a Nazi or a white supremacist.
Yeah.
So they always try to push anyone that's on the right into that far, far, far bucket. And then you have the left, which are generally normal people, but then the right tries to push the left all the way into like the crazy, I'm chopping kids' dicks off.
The extremes of the two.
Like the blue-haired lunatics, right?
Yeah.
So everyone tries to push everybody as far as they can. Now, with that, I think the right just lean towards traditional values and family and things like that. That was sort of at the core in God. And then the left just leaned towards like maniac, right? And I think that each person in trying to push everybody went further away. But one of the really good things that the right did that they are able to do is they were really able to have these long form conversations, right? So like the Rogans and things like that, they could sit down and talk for an hour about their beliefs. And then you would take people from the left and they'd just be like, Donald Trump, Nazi. It's like, why? It's like, well, because of this. And then if you have to talk about it any longer than a minute, you have to explain yourself. And so they couldn't have these long form conversations. So coming the last election, and once again, this is all just selling, right? It's all marketing and selling, which is why I pay attention to it. So you're trying to sell a product to make money or whatever, which is what essentially we do here. It's just for politics. So the right was really, really good at clipping and getting clips out there and putting their message out and really dominated social media. Right. And you had a bunch of in shape people that care about fitness, that care about God and family, like putting content out. And then the left was just highlighting like lunacy, like silly lunacy, like men dressed as women and stuff like that. And that was like how they represented. So the left obviously realized that. So in the marketing play, now you have these people on the left that are getting really, really good at doing what the right did for the last one to dominate social media. And everyone's kind of paid by whoever. Yeah. Right. So the reason that, I'm paying attention to that and I want to go back and read the Unabomber book and all of that is just because, one, I want to understand marketing and I want to understand trends. I want to see if his trending was right from back then. And then also, that's my biggest concern now is people don't understand what they consume has been paid for. Right. So like all the drug studies, it's like, look who funds the drug studies. The beautiful thing about our generation is we got to watch it growing up. Yeah. Right. And we watched it with Big Tobacco. So Big Tobacco was like, everyone sort of knew smoking was bad, but not really, because we used to smoke in McDonald's. And then all of a sudden it was like, I remember it being like, hey, smoking is bad. We need to lead this Say No to Smoking campaign, which was paid for by Big Tobacco. And I was like, wait, so you're not only selling the product, but you're also selling to advertise against the product? And that's when it was like, wait, I feel like someone else should be doing that. Yeah. Right. And
isn't like similar with like milk and health and all that stuff?
Yeah, all of that
food
shit.
pyramid.
Yeah. But I mean, you go on social media right now and you watch people telling you that you're going to die from drinking raw milk. Like I see those clips all the time. Like those people, and when you really think about someone with an opinion like that, it's like, why are they posting that? Like, did they have a friend die? Because all we drink is raw milk, and we're completely fine. And for the longest time, everyone's drank raw milk. So someone that has an agenda where they're putting out information saying, hey, raw milk will kill you, raw milk will kill you, raw milk will kill you. It's like, whoa, why are you doing this? Like what's on the backside of it? And I think that's what a lot of people don't look at. A lot of times you can look at, okay, what's the product that you're trying to sell, right? But I think that bigger than the product is the influence, and why are they trying to influence in this direction? And I think it's clear as day right now with the right was doing it because they were good at it, and the left is obviously doing it as a tactical move to prepare for the next election. And I think once again, it's all just marketing. There's a reason I watch cult movies is because cults are marketing. Cults are like the ultimate marketing tool. Yeah. religion, politics, it's all marketing. And, you know, I think if you understand trends and you understand marketing, you can understand how to sell and how to position. And, you know, I don't know, you just study real life things. And one of our favorite things to do in branding is just look at a different industry.
Yeah.
You know, I think in like the supplement industry, right? Everyone does everything the exact same way. And it's really, really played out. And the best way to stand out in the supplement industry is by be like, cool, what's Kim Kardashian doing with makeup? And then you're like, oh, she's doing this. You bring that, and all of a sudden it's this really, really fresh idea, right? And that's why people say steal like an artist.
Yeah.
A lot of times people misinterpret steal like an artist because they think, oh, I'm just going to do
Exactly what
that.
they did.
And I created it, but it's their concept. And it's like, no. Like stealing like an artist is getting inspiration from another industry, figuring out how it triggers something in your artistic brain and then bringing it there, not just copying a reel or not just copying a tagline or something like that. It's taking something as massive inspiration and then making it your own.
Yeah.
So if I can pull inspiration from the Unabomber.
Did you feel that way starting Flag, like pulling inspiration from some of your other passions or interests with the car scene, the graffiti scene?
It was all of that, right? Like I think one of my biggest inspirations growing up was obviously Ninja Turtles. And then I really got into the hardcore scene, like small local bands and stuff like that. And then like realizing that everyone's just sort of printing their own shirts and they all had this like really cool look. Like we all knew what band flyers looked like. And then what really got me was from the media side was the Props videos. Do you remember Props? You guys remember Props?
Nope.
So Props was like a BMX video series, kind of like I don't even know who paid for it really, but I remember I had some VHSs, and it was just dudes that would get all their BMX bikes and they were in a RV and they would like travel around and then shoot media.
It's kind of like CYK ish.
Yeah, kind of, but they were like shooting like funny stuff.
Okay.
They're a band.
Yeah.
Then they took the name
Gotcha.
to sort of whatever, but kind of the same thing, right? It was the beginning of like creating media, but for DVDs. And I always remember thinking like, and that's why we did our first tour. Like I started printing t-shirts and I was like, cool, we're making t-shirts like a hardcore band, but in the fitness industry, we're doing limited releases because we have to. That wasn't planned. That wasn't orchestrated or planned. And then it was, okay, as soon as we have enough money, we need to start going on tour because that's how we're going to market. And it's also like a really cool way to live life.
Yeah.
So those were all big influences in me bringing that together. But once again, it's like if I would have just followed one of those, it didn't work. And I think that's why I do pay so much attention to politics and how influencers are manipulating people and how storylines are being told and influence is coming about and, you know, other concepts. I mean, even from Waco, right? Like, how do you get people to believe so strongly in a message? I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a great company, Nick Bear, like how do you get people to show up and run that
I think
far?
you have to embody it.
Exactly.
And show them how.
Yeah. But
which
I mean,
is like I watched the
which-
Waco thing and that you listen to that guy and it's like, oh, maybe I want to go with him.
Yeah. And I
Lead.
think that's confidence, right? And that's why, again, this all sort of feeds back, and I'll go to the coaching group. When I started CCV, it was like, well, how do you do things? Like, how do you make a big impact on your life? And the first thing is getting like extremely clear, and that builds everything else. And I think when you talk to the average person, it's like, hey, what do you want to do? They're like, I don't know. Even when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
right? And there's a huge difference even in our days where we come in and it's sort of this weird day where it's like we have all these sort of projects floating around. But the days that you and I get really, really clear and build out that like ruthless schedule where it's like, oh, we have 15 minutes at 11:45 to eat lunch, and then we're into this project. And when we wake up those days, you accomplish so much more.
Yeah.
So in life, when you're clear on your goal and you know exactly what you want, you can accomplish so much more. And it's the same thing with a cult leader, right? The more clarity they have on their message and the more it seems like they just have the answer, then you're like, yeah, I believe in this dude. Listen to how he's talking about it. You know, I talk a lot about Tony Relentless, who's doing the Fusion gyms. The first time I ever heard him explain the gym casually, I was like, there's no way this gym's going to happen. And then I heard him speak about it for 20 minutes, and I was like, this dude is so clear and believes in himself so much that 100% he's going to do it. And then he did it over and over and over, and now he's going to buy a water park in Atlantic City. And I truly think that dude's going to single-handedly bring Atlantic City back to life, which is like the most impossible thing ever, because Atlantic City is dead, right? If you've been to Atlantic City, it is the weirdest experience ever. Like, it is a ghost town of abandoned shit and crackheads.
Last time I was there, that is a pretty accurate
It's
description.
crazy. And I think that he can do it. And I have that faith in him because he's so clear in his vision that it allows him to be so passionate, right? So when you're leading a company or you're building something, if you are that clear, it gives you that automatic heads up. It gives you that faith in yourself when you wake up in the morning that you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because you can like close your eyes and envision it. And that's why I put clear as the first stage, because it gives context for calculated and it gives context for vicious. And even if you make the wrong decisions, you can always go back to it. Which is why cults, right? You have people that are unsure, that aren't clear, and then they see a leader that's super passionate and believes in himself so much, they're like, well, for what I lack in clarity, I'm going to let this guy make up for it. And I think it's the same thing with politics. It's where I lack in clarity, I'm going to let this guy make up for it, or this TikToker who's telling me this make up for my lack in clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll feel better because I have more certainty in life, right? And then the foundation of that is built on what I'm going to read in the Unabomber's book of, you know, it's the vessel is technology. And that's what's sort of controlling it all and controlling the power. So that's why when I do deviate from like podcasts or information, I try to consume things like that are still somewhat entertainment, but I'm still learning. Like, I'm still taking bigger lessons from that, which is why I just love all that shit.
Damn. Unabomber shit.
Yeah, anyway, we probably shouldn't talk about the Unabomber too much.
I think you passed that.
Oh, I passed it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I passed it?
46 minutes ago we passed
So we should
that.
talk about Malachi and his prophecies that
We
haven't
did that
happened yet?
already.
That motherfucker let me down.
No, don't keep putting pressure on him.
He let me, I mean, everything's fine.
For now.
Everything's going to be fine, dude.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine.
That's the big takeaway, right? Everything's going to be fine?
No, things fall apart. And I think that's one of the things you need to remember in life, right? Like, I learned, fuck, man, that's the only thing I remember from my philosophy class because it just hit me super hard. And I don't remember it enough, but there is a concept that everything falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish we had Jordan like on a computer to look stuff up. But there's a philosophy that everything falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, everything doesn't fall apart. And they were like, no, what if a city, if everyone vacates a city and no one maintains it and no one improves, what happens to the city? And I was like, well, I don't know. And they're like, the roof is going to start to leak. I mean, same thing on this building.
Yeah.
The roof will start to leak after 5 years. The water will penetrate. The water will break it down. The earth is eventually going to take this back. And we see that in Montana all the time with barns and things like that aren't kept up on. And I was like, whoa. And they're like, the same thing with your brain. If you don't practice, if you don't read, if you don't consume media that drives you towards something, if you're not moving forward, you're deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
You got it?
Found it.
You want to read it?
Yeah. So the everything falls apart philosophy suggests that life is inherently unstable and subject to change, with periods of growth and progress often preceded by or accompanied by periods of disruption and upheaval.
Yes. So that's based on a singular line that's written really sexy that I wish I knew. But I mean, the same thing, right? Like, so if the print shop doesn't clean up the ink or maintain order, eventually that place is going to be unusable.
Yeah.
Right. And fuses are going to start to go. And next thing you know, whatever. But everything does fall apart. And it really just sort of goes back to the earth. Like the earth will take it back. Nothing really stands for that long, right? Unless you maintain it. So if grass grows through the driveway outside, eventually the cracks are going to get bigger and then you're going to have this old dilapidated road. So I think if we take that lesson and just bring it to life, it's like, well, you have to, I mean, to tie everything together today, you have to be really clear on what you're trying to do so you can make really vicious decisions and take action towards it. So when you wake up in the morning, you know what you're trying to accomplish for you, for your family, what your purpose is in life, and you can actually move towards it, or else it's just going to be this wasted time, right, of uncertainty where you're going to look to other people for certainty, which are being paid for through TikTok by the left. Possibly, right? And I think that, if you don't keep up on yourself, if you don't keep driving forward, chances are like everything's just going to fall apart. Yeah. So no, to answer your question, everything's not going to be okay. But the cool thing about humans is we're gifted at least the baseline skill set of working towards making everything okay. So no, everything's not going to be okay unless we work towards making it okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. Was this another weird podcast?
I think it was fantastic.
Thanks, bud.
It was a good rebound from last week's. Was heavy conspiracy. This kind of tied everything.
I didn't touch any conspiracy theory this
No,
time.
I know.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
went
touch
50
anything.
minutes without mentioning
Yeah.
the Pope.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, you want to end on my philosophy with the shot? I told this to him.
Oh, wait. Is this what we talked about on the way
I'm
to
not
the
going to go there.
Masters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to go there.
Just save that for some other time.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll say it off air.
Okay.
It's an interesting take on how the pandemic isn't over yet. Because yeah. But anyway. All right. Well, cool. I have stuff to do.
Yeah, I think we got we covered a lot. We have a lot to get done.
Whenever you
today.
end podcasts like this,
I never know how to end.
I
What?
always feel like I never know how the podcast was.
I'm
'cause
trying
I
to.
feel like you're
I'm
just
trying
like,
to recap it. There's just a lot of different
all
things
right,
to talk
so do a full recap right now. I want to hear.
about. I forget where we start.
So
Well,
he wasn't even paying
Well,
attention.
the conversation or topic that I wanted to come into it with was summer plans and what we have going on this summer. And that title is just thrown out the window. But we covered everything from cleaning up the facility here, or Earth is going to take it back. We touched.
Good. You're doing really good.
Good
All
listening.
right.
Thank you. How cult leaders can really have an impact on people, both for positive and negative.
Okay. Interesting.
Will
Yeah.
we take that?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What? Well,
Oh.
is there a different way to take that?
I just
Positive or
didn't. I
negative?
didn't think I said anything positive about cult leaders. I said I was learning from some of their tactics.
No, but we talk- if
and,
we-
and bringing it into marketing.
Yeah, we taught someone like Nick Bear. I think he's doing great things for the industry.
And so you think Nick Bear is a cult leader?
No, but I
Confirmed.
think that
You think
there's
he's a cult leader.
there's big takeaways in that have similarities to leading a cult.
Okay, there
is
we go.
leading a business and leading a group.
I
of
just didn't
people.
want anyone to clip you out being like cult leaders
No,
are the best.
No, you gave them plenty to clip out. I mean, those were the big things, right?
Yeah.
And then the UFL shirt. Buy it now. Rampage Jackson, number
Yeah.
one fighter.
Yep.
That's it. Good night, Dana.
Good night, Dana.
Oh, and Hustle's going to make us a new song apparently on May
An intro.
29th,
An
May
intro
19th.
song. Well, 18th we're going to decide, and then he's going to fly out here, and he wants to do some live recordings of things to put it together to make a sound. You're playing the outro song right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do your drums, bro.
Did it.